Every early childhood director knows the feeling. The rating is done. The visit is over. The score is in. And then comes the quiet question. Is this it? Or is there more? There is more, and it starts with four simple words: plan, do, study, act. The Plan, Do, Study, Act cycle, PDSA, is a core tool in continuous quality improvement systems like PCA-NJ kits. It is not a checklist or a one-time strategy. It's a way of working that helps programs test changes, learn from results, and refine practice over time. At its core, improvement is not an event, it's a process. Here's the cycle. Plan. Identify a specific area for improvement and design a focused, testable change. Clarify what you want to achieve, how you'll measure it, and what change you believe will lead to improvement. You see this part of the cycle happen when a technical assistant specialist and a director identify a focus area. Do. Try the change on a small scale. Implement it intentionally and document what happens. Study. Look at the results. Compare what was expected with what actually occurred through the use of observation, staff input, family feedback, and data from tools such as the ERS tools, performance-based assessments, or fidelity tools, for example. Act. Decide what happens next. Adopt the change, adjust it, or try something different, and then the cycle begins again. Over time, the PDSA approach shifts how programs think about standards. The question is no longer simply whether a requirement is met, but whether the practice behind it is actually working. A traditional compliance-based plan focuses on tasks, what will be done and by whom. A PDSA-based plan focuses on learning. Instead of writing that staff will be trained in a new practice, a PDSA approach asks, what change should we see after training? How will we measure it? What happens if it's not effective? That turns a plan into a cycle of inquiry, not a static document. And one principle is often overlooked. Start small. Big changes are harder to implement and harder to learn from. One classroom, one routine, 1 week. Small tests create clearer feedback and more durable results. If you're wondering how to begin, starting anywhere is better than starting perfectly. Pick one thing, not necessarily a standard, but one specific practice that feels like it could be done better. Maybe morning meeting runs long and children are losing focus before the day even begins. That's the plan. We will shorten morning meeting to 10 minutes and add a movement break. We expect children to arrive at centers more settled. The next day, try it. That's the do. At the end of the week, teachers spend 5 minutes together asking, did it work? What did we notice? That's the study. Then a decision is made. Keep it, adjust it, or try something else. That is the act. And the following week, the cycle starts again on the same practice or the next one. That's how culture is built, not through a policy, but through a rhythm. A weekly 5-minute reflection, a simple observation form, a habit of asking, what are we learning right now? When that question becomes normal, not urgent, not evaluative, just routine, PDSA is no longer a tool being used, it's simply how the program works. Without this cycle, change tends to depend on individual effort or short-term pressure, both which fade. PDSA replaces that fragility with structure. Sustainable change is built through three things. One, ownership. When staff are involved in trying changes and reflecting on results, they're part of the process, not just recipients of it. That shared involvement builds long-term commitment. Two, evidence. Over time, PDSA cycles create a record of what worked and what didn't, specific to that program, its staff, and its families. Local knowledge grounded in real conditions is more useful than any generic best practice. Three, culture. In programs where PDSA is consistent, asking, is this working, becomes normal. Reflection is expected. Adjustment is routine. Improvement is not a project. It's how the program operates. Once that culture is in place, it sustains itself. One of the most powerful things about the PDSA cycle is that it encourages a growth mindset. Instead of asking, did we get this right? It asks, what did we learn? A change that doesn't produce the results you expected isn't considered a failure, it's information. That shift matters because it creates a culture where staff feel safe trying new ideas, reflecting honestly, and making adjustments without feeling like they've fallen short. The goal isn't perfection the first time. The goal is learning something that makes the next attempt even stronger. The Plan, Do, Study, Act cycle keeps quality improvement alive long after the rating, long after a visit, long after any single initiative ends. So as you're writing your next improvement plan, think like a scientist. Start small, observe carefully, learn honestly, and keep going. Plan, do, study, act. 4 words, one cycle, continuous improvement that doesn't depend on pressure, just process. For further guidance, please speak to your technical assistance specialist.